education, the aftermath of COVID-19. I'm Pascal Pachoud from the Formation Continue ULLL EPFL, which is the Continuing Education Foundation of the University of Lausanne and EPFL. Today, I think we have again a group of international participants. As we won't have the time to introduce everybody, you may want to add the name of your city before or after your name. To do that, you can click on the three dots on your picture or go to participants and change your name. Thank you for closing your mic when you are not speaking. You can write your questions in the chat, preferably, or raise your electronic hand in Zoom. And if needed, we can make pauses to address questions. We have a great program today with Suzanne Dennett from the Florida Atlantic University. We thank very much Suzanne for waking up so early today to be live with us. And we'll have a second presentation by Ester Martinez from Universidad Carlos III de Madrid. Just a reminder, on Friday, we'll have a panel discussion with all the presenters of the week. Please note that you can ask questions to the experts during all the week through a Google form. And Friday, we'll also really ask you to work concretely on what all that you will have heard during the week can mean for you and your institution. We meet every day at 12 o'clock. So yesterday we started calling the COVID-19 crisis the storm. That's a word we started using. So this week we are very much interested in learning and sharing about how we are all weathering the storm and how it is going to impact on what will happen after the crisis. Types of programs we will offer, formats of these programs, even financial questions. So let me introduce our first speaker today, Suzanne Dennett. Dr. Suzanne Dennett is an instructor for the Adult and Community Educational Leadership Department at Florida Atlantic University in the US. She also supervises the master's program. Some of the courses she teaches include workplace learning, leadership practices, and curriculum development. Prior to this position, Suzanne was the academic dean for Northwood University in West Palm Beach. Suzanne also spent many years working in industry as a human resources manager. Suzanne's research interests include student engagement, factors that influence leadership practice, and critical thinking. I give you the floor, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you, Pascal. That was a very nice introduction. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Are you all able to see that? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you, first of all, UConn, for having me these last 2 weeks. I think I've been here every week, every day apart from one. And I sort of enjoy getting up early now. And even at the weekend, I was just saying I get up really early. So it's been extraordinary just the last 2 weeks, and this week too. It's been really wonderful. So I thank you so much for having me. And so what I wanted to talk about today really was just how we continue with the high touch, high feel in the virtual classroom that we have in the face-to-face classroom. So as I think John Wooding from our very first week said, he surprised people because he was from England living in the US, and I feel exactly the same. I've been here for over 20 years now, and so people say I'm in the US, but I'm really got 2 feet still back in England. So it's a odd feeling. So anyway, just wanted to get started. Let's see. I'm just trying to move my PowerPoint along. Oh, there we go. And so my university is based in Florida, and I'm actually on the Jupiter campus. And this is my campus. I'm housed in the College of Education, And as Pascal said, I work for the Adult and Community Education group. And so mainly my students are adults. So they're working on their doctoral degree, they're working on their master's degree. So generally my students are working, they have their jobs, some have families. So they're not the traditional students. We also have another campus, which is our main campus in Boca Raton. So you can see on this map, Jupiter is here where I am, and we're about 2 hours drive south of Orlando. And then our main campus, Boca Raton, is down here, the second arrow, just north of Miami. So probably about 45 minutes drive north of Miami. And we have about 30,000 students in total, but they're mainly housed on the Boca campus. My Jupiter campus has about 1,000. And so as Pascal mentioned, gosh, we've been weathering this storm. It's the longest storm I've ever known. And we're used to hurricanes lingering on our coast, you know, and so we thought this storm was just going to be, some did, over a few weeks. And so our transition would just be quite short. However, as we realized, the transition has been so long. And so now we're having a chance to breathe and look back and just look at some things that we've learned along the way. And as you remember, we really transitioned overnight from going from face-to-face classes to the virtual online world. And if I can quote Pascal from yesterday, faculty and students really had to rapidly adopt new tools. Faculty had to learn to teach online when they hadn't used to being teaching online. Students had to quickly learn new tools and new technology and work from their homes. And so, you know, I kept asking myself, how do I keep that warm and approachable connection that I had in the face-to-face class with my students? How do I keep that high touch, high feel? And in our face-to-face classrooms, you know, we have that relationship. We see students coming into the classroom and we have a chat before class starts. We have our breaks. People see our eye contact and they hear our voices. And so to me, that personal connection was so important. And we heard from Ingrid yesterday that teachers want that connection. And I wanted that connection, and students want that connection. And just from the research I was doing, I was finding that was really true. So really today, I just wanted to share my findings. And the question I posed was, what factors contribute to a high touch, high feel learning environment? And I used the sample were my students in my classes, 155 students. And I looked at the classes between March and September this year. And I just looked at my university. I just wanted to do something a little more formal. And looking at the research, there is research out there that teacher-student relationships are related to student satisfaction. Students do want that relationship with their faculty members. And by having that warm environment, that really invites that interaction. We see it here when we see each other face to face. We interact, and already I feel I've been interacting with you for over 2 weeks now, and I feel like I'm in a room full of friends, and it's lovely. And it's the same thing we want to have in the classroom. And it does enhance that online classroom experience. And so what I did was, and I do this every semester actually, I always send out a questionnaire in the middle of the semester, and our semesters are 15 weeks long. And I call it a midterm pulse check. And it's really an open-ended questionnaire. You know, what do you like? What do you not like? You know, anything that you would change, and then just open for comments. And then also at the end of the semester, our university sends out formal anonymous questionnaires, surveys that students complete. And the comments are returned to faculty about 6 weeks after the semester finishes, and we're able to look at the evaluations. And again, they're anonymous. And so I look at those and I use the answers from those too. So again, I looked at 155 students, and the majority of them were graduates or doctoral level students. About 40 were in an undergraduate class. And I was finding themes, and one of the themes that I found was the thorough feedback. The students really valued thorough feedback on their assignments, and they really thought that this feedback was wonderful for their future learning. And so I give feedback on everything, whether it's posting on a discussion board, how to have a meaningful discussion, to invite interaction on the discussion board, whether it's giving them thorough feedback on their assignments, how they could change something, how they could add maybe more scholarly references. And so I do actually spend a lot of time giving them this thorough feedback. And then also if they have presentations or any projects that they have to do, they are given feedback on those. And just the results from the surveys tell me to continue to do that because they like that. And yesterday we heard from Ingrid, who said giving feedback to students really helps their learning. And I think we can all appreciate that. Another theme I found was the use of personalized videos. So I like to make videos, just a very informal video of myself talking about maybe an announcement, what's coming up this week. Welcome to the course. I do this every time we have a new course. It's just an informal welcome, what to expect. They get to know me, even some of my interests. And then even on the discussion board. So the course is asynchronous. And so students are going back and forth on the discussion board, talking about this week's readings or the resources. And they talk for about a week going back and forwards. And so what I like to do is use short videos of myself just responding to their posts. And I welcome students to do that too. And some of them do, not all of them, but I'd like to see more of them do it because it really helps to build that connection with one another too in the classroom, as well as me. And then another one, I give feedback on assignments. I write it and then I also post a video. And I know it seems like double the amount of work, but I just think it's so important to not only give them that detailed feedback, but just deliver it also in a nice warm message through a video so they can see my eye contact as well. And again, I've had feedback that they enjoy that. Then another theme was having virtual get-togethers. And so at the beginning of class, and as I mentioned, our semester runs 15 weeks. So it seems like there are lots of opportunities for get-togethers, but when you factor in 15 weeks, there aren't that many, but students value them. So we have a virtual welcome get-together at the beginning of the class, and it's optional and it's not graded. So students have the choice whether to Zoom in or not. And it's 30 minutes, we just get to know each other, and students talk to one another as well. And then this year, this is a new event that I'm doing. In the face-to-face class, I always used to have an end of semester potluck get-together. And when I first came over here, I wasn't sure what potluck meant. And it's actually everybody brings a dish. It's like bringing a dish to the party. And so after their presentations on the last day in my face-to-face classroom, students and me would all bring a dish and we would talk about what that dish meant to us. And it was just a nice way to end the semester. So I thought, how do I transfer that to the online world? And so this year we're having a virtual potluck get together where students will bring their potluck to their computer at their home and talk about what they've brought, and then just a way to celebrate the end of the semester. So hopefully that will go well. And unfortunately this year we didn't have a commencement ceremony because of COVID. And so I held a virtual celebration for the graduates, for mine. And as Pascal said, I oversee a program of adult and community education students. And I had 8 students graduating at the end of the summer. And so I held a virtual celebration on Zoom. I dressed up in regalia. I played the pomp and circumstance music. And the graduates came in and I talked about each of them. And some of them brought their family, their children, or their parents, friends, and it was very nice. And they had a chance to reflect on their program as well. And I also do the mid-virtual check-in as well. And then students also have the opportunity to formally present virtually as well. So just other ways to get together and use that approachable, high feel, high touch. Then I just wanted to just show you some pictures of actuals. And this year we had a virtual tea party. And so everybody had the chance to have a tea party at home. And we connected for 15 minutes just to say hello and welcome, and this is my tea party, and then please go back to your families and enjoy it. And so these were just some pictures from the event. And I think I went overboard on my tea party. I was missing my English tea parties, and I had quite a lot there. And then this was very nice. We had students actually had a project to look at organizational culture. And so they invited, and they told me they were going to do this, they invited Edgar Schein, he's the guru of organizational culture. And I said, okay, that's really great if he comes, and thinking that he probably wouldn't come, but he did. And he brought his son, Peter Schein, and we had a wonderful hour-long conversation with our students and these legends. And we actually had 33 students there. And then at the end, one of my students, Matt, and you can see my students are all different ages. He gave Edgar and Peter 2 owls. The owl is our mascot, and then he sent them through the mail. And so just another way of getting people together, even though we're not in the classroom, there are ways that we can connect with one another. And I was so proud of the students for doing that. And then just how do we replicate the getting together before class starts in the coffee area, or we have a lot of water fountains, and people gather around the water fountains and they chat and they talk about class, and they talk about, the assignments, they talk about the movie maybe they saw now on TV. And so I have a place called Le Café, and it's a discussion board, and it's optional. Students can go in there and post what they did at the weekend. Now it's not so much, but how to relax. Some students post relaxation techniques. And again, it's just another way of connecting. And then if we ever have a live class, then I open up the classroom 15 minutes early so students can come in by themselves and just talk to one another before class starts. And again, just another way to build rapport. They don't have to enter, but they can if they want to. And so just quickly, some student feedback. And a student said, since this class is online, we do not have the luxury of meeting our professor face-to-face every week. However, she made it a point to send personally recorded videos, which honestly made me feel like I knew her and motivated me to work harder in the course, so I didn't disappoint. And then another student said, I loved the fact that Dr. Dennett used a variety of techniques to convey feedback. She used videos which provided a very personal touch to an online course. And these keep me going. And just last one, her feedback. She provides the most thorough feedback that helps me to understand how to better complete later assignments. So just all these rich quotes from students really reinforces this, that they need the connection with faculty. I need it too. Selfishly, I need that connection too. So I enjoy these too. And so I do feel it is possible to get that high touch, high feel in the virtual world. And I'll continue to find ways to do it because I think it is helping, especially now. And even after we weather this storm, I'll be continuing to do this. And so I just want to leave you with a reflection question. How will you add high touch, high feel to your virtual world? And if you have any ideas, please, as Pascal said, comment in the chat area or raise your hand to know that you have them, or even if you have any questions as well. And thank you again for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan. Very, very inspiring presentations. I think we all feel like we would like to be one of your students when you
You can you can come, you can come and visit virtually.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the chat, and Francesca made a comment. She wrote, or maybe I should let Francesca comment on her post.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. Well, my comment is that I think that apart from the excellent techniques that Susan has mentioned, you can feel her true and genuine involvement and intention behind all these techniques. And I think that this makes really the difference, because students can perceive this. They can perceive the genuinity and authenticity of your intention behind the application of all these techniques. So yes, it was just a reflection on the perception I had from your account.
Thank you, thank you. They say that as well. So, and it's like us too. We can feel it when someone's really trying, you know, and that's what we can do. We can just keep trying and see what works.
Susanna, I've got a question. I think it takes some special, I would say, a gift or competencies to bring this sort of activities. How can we do to encourage our teachers maybe to engage in this sort of activities, which maybe is not something natural to them?
That's a really good question, Pascal, and I share this with my colleagues too, and I do hear from students that not all faculty do this either, because it is more work. It actually is, you know, and I do devote a lot of time. But I think as we share with each other, and even maybe share one good thing that really works, you know, I mean, I've bombarded you today with a lot of different techniques that I use. But even if we just take one thing and share it with our colleagues, so making the small videos, that was the first thing that I started with, was making a personalized video. And I've been doing this for quite a while now. And if we can just take one different technique and share it with others and just ask them to try it and see what their comments are, you know, it's because people are reluctant, I know. I mean, I have that here at my school as well. I mean, we offered a lot of training. The faculty, they have been overwhelmed with transitioning, especially if they haven't been used to teaching online. And the other thing I'm doing, Pascal, is I'm sort of working with another faculty member, and I'm helping him in his class. So I gently infused a few videos into his class just to see what he thought of them. And he's given me some great comments. So I'm hoping that he'll continue to do that.
Okay, excellent. What we found here when the storms started is that there was a huge difference between trainings that had already started, where people already knew each other, and trainings that started once everything went online. What would be your recommendation when you have a group that has never met and their first meeting is online? Do you have anything special to create a kind of a class spirit in those conditions?
Well, actually, I think the icebreakers, and the first week that we got together in UConn with the learning cities, I actually stole some of the ideas of the icebreaker, where what was it? What did we have for breakfast? And that was a great informal question. And I thought, oh, this is great. It's just, you know, it's just a way of getting to know each other. And I thought, I wish we could just do that in our faculty meetings that are very, very formal. And it would just really break the ice. And it can be a simple question like, and even here putting our names of our cities. And I've gotten such a lot of good information from attending this every day, apart from one. And just having that little icebreaker, just like the potluck, you know, what is it you're bringing? What are you having for dinner? Just that, it's just an icebreaker at the beginning to get everybody to share.
Thank you. Is there any other question? We still have like a couple of minutes with Suzanne before we move to Esther. I see one from Jenny.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Excellent presentation. Thank you. Very informative. And I would like to ask you what we can do when we have a larger group of students. Okay, when we have small, it's okay. And we did that, as I told you, for our professors. We have the Learning Cafe. It's perfect. It works in teams, actually. But what we can do when we have 200 students? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. That is a lot. And my classes, I usually have maybe 22 at the most. It's in some of our other colleges, we have larger groups. But what I would do with a really large group, and I do this sometimes when I've got, maybe I'm having a presentation, I'll just post videos, say in the announcement area to everybody. And so it's like I just have to make one video, but it goes to all the students. So if there were 200 students in the class, I would just post that. And it's been a little bit more overwhelming this semester because I've got an extra class that I've had and I'm helping. So it has been overwhelming. So I have tried to tailor down the personal videos. And so I'll make one each week. So it's just one video once a week. So that's not too bad. They still get to know me. And then sometimes on the discussion board, if you have 200 students, and I'm not sure how your learning management system is, but if you have a lot of students there, you could do like, and I do this sometimes too, a debriefing. So I'll give an overall comment to all of the students together. So, oh, Jenny mentioned this and Susan mentioned this, but I'll send it to everybody. So again, it's a personalized video, but it's meant for the larger audience. And I mean, what you could also do is you could still have the virtual get-togethers and maybe use the breakout rooms as well. I still, it's more challenging, it is, and I know it's more work, but even if you can just start small by doing that welcome, one video, one welcome. It's like just going back to the very first week of Learning Cities, and one of the gentlemen mentioned, you start small and then you build big. You know, so just start small with one thing, I would suggest.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. I can
Thank
see in the chat that your presentation was highly appreciated. So thank you so much. I suggest to move to the second presentation. We are lucky today, we have two presentations. And the second presentation is from Professor Ester Martinez, who is Associate Professor of Management at the Universidad Carlos III de Madrid. She holds a PhD by UAB and an MSc in Economics by UCL. She's a Director of Continuing Education School at her university. Her research interest is in the analysis of innovation, decision, and its effect on the firm performance. She focuses on the drivers of innovation with heterogeneous unobserved effects. The title of the presentation is New Scenario in Continuing Education, a Challenge and Many Opportunities for the Future. The floor, or virtual floor, is yours, Esther.
Thank you, Pascal, for bringing me the opportunity to participate in this forum. And I hope you are seeing my presentation.
We do.
Okay, perfect. I want to congratulate all the team with Karma and all the people inside eucen for doing this type of forums. I think it's very grateful for all of us to share our experiences and many other doubts that we have in these turbulent moments. I think it's a very good experience. Okay, let's start with my presentation. It's a new scenario in continuing education, a challenge of and many opportunities for the future. This presentation is framed inside the week 3 that deals with the learning, the digital learning in these moments, and as everyone has suffered, we are in a very dramatic surge in digital learning, and the learning curve was steep for learners, teachers, and course organizers. And the presentation that I want to do in this moment is that I want to separate what is the past that we did, trying to make some answers about what did participants and teachers really learn from this experience. And the second part of my presentation is about the present and the future, in trying to give some light related to how will digital learning reshape our continuing education beyond these emergency moments that we are suffering. Just a starting point. The continuing education school have some numbers. We have at this moment 33 master's degrees, 15 specialist and experts programs, and other courses 26. As you can see, as a number of programs, the evolution is in this last year. It has been a decrease in the masters and also in the expert, and other courses. Since in the masters we have more or less the same evolution, from a slightly increase. Related to the number of students, we have more or less stable. But as you see, we have lost a little bit students from the last course. This is only as a picture of our continuing education school, and I want to just put in the audience just what we have suffered. When pandemic goes through our lives, we just change our mentality in terms of learning. We move from just the traditional way to share our knowledge to another type of methodology. But what I'm thinking is that this pandemic is not only the one. Maybe we can just use this experience as the whatever global virus or event that we can just suffer. Okay, what has pushed our university and whatever center of training is that we have to change our paradigm. We have new form to teach and interact, as always you have said in other presentations, Susan or Pascal yesterday or whatever. New methodology, new tools to learn and implement. And not only the students have to just manage the new scenario, but also the teachers. Then the teachers have to be just a change in their mentality in order to offer a good training and a good learning inside for the students. Okay, just let me explain the past. The past is that a chronicle of our education transition. As you know, in March 11, in our country, all education system was closed. And in March 13, all the university starts with an online training. Just in 2 days, all the staff and all the administrative and whatever put all the tools that we did at that moment, like Blackboard, Collaborate, Google, Zoom, whatever, Moodle, we put all together in the hands of some people that train to the teachers. In March 14, all teachers who wish and learn about that transform their teaching using remote tools. I did that. On March 14, I was teaching using remote tools. Finally, university decides to move 15 days ahead the end of course in order that all teachers could learn along these 15 days, because not always people has the same facilities and the same friendly with technological tools, right? Okay, in decisions about was made about the assessment process, because the first one was related to how can we provide to our students the knowledge without not face-to-face. But now in May we had to decide which was the assessment process, because we have 2 calls, one the ordinary and the other the extraordinary, and we need to approve inside our university which type of tools used to evaluate the students. After several meetings, finally we decide that the use of remote tools, because in June and at the end of May and in June, we were also in the lockdown till the 21 of June. Okay, but at the same time, in June 2020, we start with the planification of the next academic year, because we need to solve what it was then on September. How can we manage that? Well, from the postgraduate center and inside the School of Continuing Education, we send a form sheet was designed to receive information of the teaching model that best suit the characteristics of the program. And the School of Continuing Education offer different four options and different models in order to offer the next academic year 2021. The directors of each program select which was the model more appropriate, right? Which were the options? The options were 4. 1, just suspension of the program, just cancel out the program, because in this year it was not possible to achieve the standards of learning. The other one could be just synchronous online orientation with exceptional face-to-face activities. The third one, the B model, is part of the program is followed synchronous online and part face-to-face. This like hybrid is also called hybrid system. And finally, some programs, very few, decide to do the teaching face-to-face. some facts related to that all the programs inside the School of Continuing Education, 33% of the program use the synchronous online model, 37% taught in the bimodal model, that is 50% online and 50% face-to-face, and 40% of the programs continue with the completely face-to-face modality. I have to say that this last have been many problems to get some students, because someone was reluctant to come to Spain, and this was a problem that some of them move to synchronous online model. Okay, on July, decision was used the hybrid mix system for 50% and remote and face-to-face, and just if the pandemic goes worse, we move again to the remote classes. How was the satisfaction of the students at that moment? Okay, here you have some results about the different programs only about master, saying one question related how the university has replied to this to the pandemic situation. And here you have 1, 2, 3. This is a Likert scale, and if you see, most of them are situated in the good satisfaction. Then at this moment it was okay, just we more or less cover the standard requirements for the students. Okay, in October 20 we just after observing the evolution, some programs, as I said before, changed to online system. Okay, this is the past. The second is the present. The second part of my presentation is the present. How about the present? The present we have in the new scenario that we are going to the university in the 50% of our time. University thought about how can we manage those cases that were inside our university or inside our campus, because we have 4 campuses, 1 in Madrid capital and 3 of them outside outside Madrid. It's in the region, but not in the Madrid capital. Okay, and then university just moved to a system in order to register and follow up all the cases COVID-19. The first one was just here you have a picture of our website when we inform to everyone how is the general measures, specific measures, personal at risk, and how can we detect the cases. Okay, and this is what I want to explain just briefly. We organize 2 different groups, 2 different teams. The first one is the team related to manager instructor, and the other one operation instructor. At the manager structure level, they make decisions and they don't bottom up to the government committee in order to approve many decisions about that. And we just have here, one is a commission related to COVID and just 2 other sub-commissions related to students and related to just the staff, the administrative staff and the teachers. And at the second level is more an operation structure. They help to the commission and follow up all the potential COVID cases. Here we have involved different departments. This is the prevention of labor risk, and also all the person responsible of different centers, okay? Then, how is the procedure to identify and follow up the COVID-19 cases? First, we automatize procedures. Just we have an app, and we have also a link that everyone that is suspicious of having a COVID, they put their name and just they report inside this. Each positive case is reported to a person in charge of each center, and in 1 hour maximum, all the communication from the responsible area communicate to the student how is the protocol that he has to do. The responsible person contact with the student, and an email is sent to all tight contacts. Automatically, a report is obtained to address the follow-up and the decisions making with academic commission at each day at just at midnight. In this report, we have the evolution of the cases and all the alerts. The alerts are when we have 3 or more cases in one group or in one classroom. And just as a show you some pictures about how is this procedure done. Here we have all days. I just picture from 25 of October since last week. Here we have by day the new cases in blue, and in red we have the positive cases in the last 14 days. Is that the same measure that is used in the all countries and in Europe, okay? In order to make comparison on that. As you see, we have here a peak, and now we are just descending a little bit. This is the incidence rate by 100 inhabitants the last 14 days, and here we have the our incidence rate that now is a little bit just moderating. And here you have the daily average of new positive cases in the last 7 days. And as you see, at the end of September, we had a peak, and now it seems that we are just moving to downstream of the curve. Okay, some interesting conclusions of this, just to conclude in order to be just tied with my time, is that to what extent situation is controlled inside our university. We need to reinforce the system and procedure, just making more coordination and more organizational process, and be very active with the new situation, right? Why? Because maybe in the future we will have to maintain an hybrid system, because we don't know, even if we have the vaccines, maybe we can just maintain some classrooms online and the other maybe face-to-face. Also, because we invest a lot in these technological tools, and we need also to just recover this type of things. And I finish just thank you for your attention, and just saying that the learning is the key, no matter where and how. Thank you to everyone, and just I let my to Pascal.
Thank
if
you.
Somebody is willing to say.
Thank you very much, Esther, and well done with the way you managed this very difficult situation. Looking at your numbers, you really had many cases if I compare with our own numbers. And I could see a difference in the way to deal with it, in the sense that at least in Switzerland, I think generally, really it was the health authorities making the decisions and communicating around cases. we could not have done what you've been doing in terms of communicating to other students or something like this. It's really had to be done by the health authorities. So the floor is now open for comments and question. I can see a question from Pat Davies, who is asking, are these figures just about the students or do they include staff?
Yes, they include all the staff, teachers,
Okay.
and also students. Yes, but we have two different treatment. If we have teachers or staff or students, depending on if we detect the cases before the class or inside the class, because it is very different situation.
What we felt from our experience is that there are things we can control, other we cannot control, in the sense that obviously we had protection plans and concepts in our classes, but then a lot of the cases were, happened when people go and eat together or share a picnic or share a drink maybe during lunchtime, and this is something where we really felt we had no control over that.
What we have, I think the last week the vice rector told me that only a few cases were detected inside the classroom, because all the cases were outside, when they go make some groups for doing some projects or assignments, or they go to the illegal parties or whatever, because this is it happens because it's the real life, because the people go to the resident or they go with their family, and then on the weekend they go out with some people, and then this is the moment when they suffer from that.
I don't know if you've probably seen it, because it was in a Spanish newspaper, El País. There was a very good animation about the situation in the classroom and how the virus was transmitted. And they were really showing the importance of like opening the windows or all these sort of things. We started sharing it with our professors to make them aware of really the importance of these things that looked at the beginning a bit like a detail. Any question or comments? I don't see any on the chat, but maybe there are some others. It doesn't seem to be the case. Thank you very much again, Esther, for this presentation. And I would like to, we have a few more minutes. I maybe like to ask Carme if you could show the program for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we will have Professor Peter van Balen, who is from University of Amsterdam, but who is also a member of the Digital Education Thematic Group of LIRU. LIRU is a League of European Research Universities, and they did a really amazing study during the storm or the crisis, which is called Digital Transformation of LIRU Universities During Corona Crisis Times. I have to say that I saw the result, and it should be really a great presentation like the one we had yesterday and today. I want to thank again very much our presenters for today. Esther and Suzanne, thank you so much for your presentation. I would also like to thank very much the UCAN team, Carmen and her team who are running those open fora session. I think it's the third week. There is one more after this one, so it's really a daily job for that. And thank you very much to the participant, all of you. This is also you who are making really the success of those sessions. Thank you, everybody, and really hope to see you again tomorrow at 12.
Okay.
Thank you
to everyone.
Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.